the State of the Union address that was done, I think a week ago, right, by the President of the Republic of Liberia, President Joseph Numa Boakai. You know, a very very long speech. One for each and every one of us to give our opinion. On the matter.
Some of the things that really attract me, about the State of the Nation address, that is the job the president mentioned, and also agriculture. He talked about agriculture, and then he said that over 198,000 farmers have received government support, leading to expand their rice or cocoa plantation or whatsoever. And now about 198,000, that is a good number. That is a good number, bro. We always complain about food security. We don't produce food for ourselves. And if the government of Liberia have provided 198,000 farmers with equipment, I rather want to know what are these equipment that these farmers have been provided with. People still complain about food in the country. And we listened to the finance minister. He said that, oh, we will open a bread and butter ministry. You know, are you kidding me? His statement was, with due respect, his statement was inappropriate.
Who made that statement? Who made that statement?
Minister of Finance, the Minister of Finance, he said that we're going to create a ministry called bread and butter ministry, where we will be producing bread and butter, because for opposition are criticizing this statement made by the president that indeed the bread and butter issue of the country have not been addressed. He just came and said 70,000 jobs also have been provided or have been created in
When
Liberia.
he said that, when he said that, they will create a bread and butter, ministry, was he just, was it a figure of speech, or he was, seriously, how they call it?
It's not a figure speech. I think it's like a response to some opposition that criticize or that made a comment that yes, indeed, the bread and butter issue have not been addressed of the country. They have not been addressed in the country. People cannot stay eat. Although the president spoke about a road, he spoke about this, that, but the bread and butter issue of the country, where Liberians can be able to feed themselves, okay, can be able to earn for themselves, feed their family.
I come in, when they say that bread and butter, especially anybody use that, phrase in their, statement, is they referring to the C-suite, like the sweet part of, how they call
Right,
it, like when I come to
right. I'll
rice,
find it. I'm
how they
gonna
call it.
find a video. I'm gonna find a
No, no,
video. Sorry.
no, I'm not saying that they're not saying that. I'm just saying that what they mean when they say that the bread and butter issue have not been addressed or it has been addressed. They're not literally talking about the real bread and the real butter. They're talking about
I
the
know
C-suite
for
part.
fact.
Okay,
For fact,
okay.
I know that. But the minister is someone who is educated. He have experience. He have worked with the with World Bank in Africa or around Africa. So yeah, he has the experience. He mentioned, he make it clear in his statement that yes, indeed, we need to open a ministry where we produce bread and butter. This is a statement. We need to open a ministry. I'll recommend to the president. He said I'll recommend to the president so he can open a ministry that will be responsible to produce bread and butter for the people. Since opposition people are saying that yes, indeed, we are not making an impact. And the impact he spoke about, he said that the road to various farms are being paved by the government of Liberia. The government of Liberia are paving roads, to various farms so that farmers can be able to bring their produce to the market.
I can say to you here on the show, when Madam Salif took over as president of the Bureau of Labor in 2006, or the impact of Madam Salif, President Salif, was never felt by the Liberian people. They not really feel that impact of President Salif. The first 6 years, even up to 12 years. The reason was because what? When you are building a foundation of anything, and people may not notice what is actually going on. Yes. Or the CDC regime, they did a good in some bar, but the bar was more. So the impact of this government right now, the impact of this government on every sectors, it won't really show now. Because like we still trying to patch what I call it patching what happened in the past. Like you see, even when it comes to the diplomatic phone, but that's the only one that everybody see on the international level where Labroad got a position on the UN security. Labroad taking some giant step when it comes to international policy. people that are reading, people who go to school, they are seeing that particular impact. They see them with their receiving and reading. But when it comes to technical activities, right? We don't feel it right now. We don't feel it. We don't understand it right now until after some years before
But
we get it
yeah,
work.
but Brother Oda, this speech is only about the past 2025. And
Yeah, yeah.
and
So
maybe the next one is coming. So we're not talking about the president's entire presidency, right? We're just talking about his S.O.N.A speech and
the
the
reason
190,000 people that Kofi mentioned.
I'm making
Hello.
the leap, I come in now.
Yeah,
The reason
yeah.
is because what I come back to the topic. The topic here is before we discuss two things. The president 7,000 job creation in the and 100,000 farmers that they give them materials. Oh,
198,000 farmers receive government support.
okay, 108,000 government support. When you say government support, it doesn't even mean that everybody can receive cash. Some may receive tools, working tools. Some may receive, you have tools. Some may receive of ceilings. Like president say they are empower or employ about 7,000 branch, right? I think that's the biggest topic on the internet since the president's speech. And that, like I said, the other four people are talking. Like when president gets 7,000 job, yes, it can be true. I would say don't really
Yeah,
true.
explain that now. How is that true? 70,000 people. How is that true? Because for me
7,000.
personally, that is my biggest problem with that speech. When the
Bro,
Okay.
president said,
yes.
I
Bro,
come in,
you
I
don't want to
was,
hear what the other have to say. You don't want to hear what the other have to say about that. You don't want to
but
hear,
we'll
bro.
hear it. We'll hear
You
it.
don't
We
want to
already hear.
hear.
We hear it. I
Can you
would say
talk?
my biggest problem with that speech is that
Talk.
70,000
That's
employment
7,000.
that he is claiming that he has done since he became president. Wait now, Dauda, I just want to set you up so that you can answer. Yeah, Dauda. Nigga, when you're ready to come back, I want to tell you, talk. If you're not talking, you can't. I want to set you up so that you can answer, right? I will set you up so that you can answer. My biggest problem with that speech is he saying that, since he became president 2 years ago, his government has created 70,000 jobs for Liberians. You have to understand, this is not putting people in a place that was already there. You're talking about create new jobs that were non-existent before he came to president. Before he became president, he created it out of thin blue air, 70,000. So the floor is yours. Please make us believe and understand how did that happen and where are the jobs?
Okay. In two ways, direct and indirect employment. Direct and indirect employment. Two ways. Two-way street. President 7,000 is two ways, direct and indirect employment. One, the direct employment, for instance, right? There are some people who were employed, or some government officials who the president employed them, who the president appointed them, for instance. And some of the ministers, even in their home, there are 3 or 4 person being employed just by prime minister, because sometimes you need nanny, you need this, you need that. So if even 1,000 maybe into the president appointees, let's say even 1,000 president appointees, let's say into analysis, right? 1,000 president appointees, right? Each of them domestically, they employ or empower 3 person in their home or 2 person in their home. 2,000 times times two. So almost like roughly we just something about 6,000.
No, Dauda, that's not job creation. You're talking about presidential appointees. That's not job. That's not job creation. What are you talking about? President appointed people. That's not job creation. Any president that become president, you get all these people to appoint. Even George we are appointed plenty people in. You understand why? Because those positions are there to be filled. All the ministers that are in abroad today, who appointed them to be ministers? We're talking about the managing director of even LEC, managing director of the National Port Authority. All these directors, CEOs, and whatever. Who appointed them? The president appoints them. It's your job to appoint them. That's not job creating. That's not job creating. These
Sorry,
are
list
positions that are supposed to be filled anyway.
you saw the list that came up. I think one of the journalists posted it, or one journalist posted certain listing, but people being appointed from initial find information somehow on Tuesday. But if I do have on the show to discuss the aqua sorry and then give you some analysis of it, say level president appointees. But from what I saw on that particular Sony, right? directly, indirectly, we may be around 100,000 people appointed, not appointed, but got job in the country. Yes, because if why you shaking your head for? This is our why you shaking your head
Bro,
for?
you're trying to defend something that is indefensible. You can't defend it. It's not possible. Yes. You
What?
can like
Listen, for the record, bro, for the record, even government officials, they try to defend this statement. They are going from talk show to show, radio station to radio station. They can't even convince,
it's not
one
possible.
person. Nobody's
You
convinced
talking
about
about
that.
that's why I
And
refuted it.
you are not
And it's
government
talking about
employee. You are not government employee. Why are you trying to defend, bro? Let's just
Oh,
face the fact.
so
You
I
know,
no.
we know we
no,
know
no, no.
very well that we know very well that
You can
you
try to
support
defend the
Unity Party.
government
That's
if
your
you're
government. You support Unity
you
Party. We know that. But this is the
you
fact.
can
The fact.
you can try to defend the government if you have clear points, but you don't have any clear points, and not just you. Anybody that is trying to defend the government right now, especially on the particular issue that we're talking about, you're gonna fail miserably.
Listen. Dada is saying, even because I'm an international student, I'm employed by the government. That's what Dada is trying to tell me. I am employed by the
What,
government. He's trying to convince me.
bro?
He's trying to
You know,
convince me that I am employed by the government because I'm international student. How can you say
Dauda,
that?
listen. I will say this right. Even Alma said that sitting down here, I'm in favor of the government. What I mean by that is that I wish and pray for the government to succeed, because if the government succeed, like bro succeed. As a matter of fact, I am proud to say that I voted this government to come into power. But you made a mistake when you came here. When you came to address the issue, the first statement you made was that you say my government, right? You say
Oh,
my government.
yes,
I come. So
government.
you you say what?
The ones- the government is our government. Even opposition government.
No. But you did not say our government. You say my government. You took it personally. You say
Okay.
my government. I come in now. I come in because listen now. What we're trying to do here is that what we're trying to do here. I believe even when I say that this government is our government, I think I even speaking for him before himself. But we're not like we are being we are kind of like we are neutral in this. Yes, we love the government, we want the government to succeed, but if there is criticism that is need to be done, we are not shying away.
Right? For me, like I said to you, like I said, right? I saw that thousand. We just need to do more research, right? If we ask CSA, the
No.
CSA are coming. Ah,
Okay, go ahead. Go
if we
ahead.
ask
Summarize
CSA to give us the data analysis on how many person was employed by government since President Baka took over. That's one. Then, or every companies or like private institutions that operating in the country, because we don't have the data set up around the country. So because every companies or every places where you employ people, but right, you still have a data system to report it into government database
bro.
to know how many. I'm coming.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
So to know how many person have been employed from this month to this month, how many person was employed, even by the private sector, by the private sector, by government. But we don't have these things put in place in our country. So there are people who were employed, but now CSA, like I said, CSA need to do a job for us, for every one of us who are on the platform, even for the
I will
government.
tell you this. I will tell you this. Let me cut it short. You know, going to CSA and all these things, all that one are long cut. The shortcut is this. What kind of sector, what kind of company or factory or working space that is in Liberia right now that was not there 2 years ago? This is what we're talking about. Yes, the government is being reverberated. If somebody is claiming that the government has created 70,000 jobs, we have to see it with our colloquial eyes. We have to see people working that were not working during George Weah time, in position that never existed during George Weah time. You can't be talking about where are the positions that are existing now that were not existing during George Weah time. That's one. And not just 1, 2 positions, and not 3,000 positions. We're talking about 70,000.
70,000 is not a joke.
So that is a huge number. This is why when people are, having problem with that number, this is where it coming from. You can't just say, "Oh no, let's go ask CSA to bring us some document." No, you gotta go do your research, bro. No research is more than what your naked eye can see. You understand what I'm saying? If there are 70,000 new jobs created in Liberia, brand new job out of nowhere, people will know. You got to go do no research on our people. No, look at S.O.N.A, one of the biggest factory company in Liberia. How many thousand Liberians you think they employing? About 3,000-4,000. 3,000-4,000 Liberians. This is one of the biggest company in Liberia, if not the biggest. But so if you talk about 70,000 people getting employed, that's small thing there, right? So that brings us to my biggest problem. Like I said, that was my biggest problem with the speech. And of course, there was other things there about education, how, what they have done with the education system. He never talked about, investing more. I'm talking about more money into education. The only thing he mentioned about education was that they caught more than 1,000 names that were, ghost names, that were taking salaries as teachers, but they were not actually real human beings. They removed them from the salary list. But I mean, like, that's not improvement. We don't care about these things. What we care about is really, really setting another sector that is going to be the governing body of our school system. I'm talking about the system that will protect the system of our schools. Literally, meaning we have our teachers today in classroom loving to their students, dating their students, asking money from their students so that they can give them grade. What kind of system do we have in place to stop those people there from, literally robbing the children of their future? We don't have no system. If you go to any other country, they get system in the school that can hold teachers accountable. We don't have anything like that. And I think our biggest problem when it comes to the school system, that is it. Our school system have the biggest problem. Now, the salary is one of the problems. To increase the salary of the teacher is very, very good. But you have to set up a system that will hold the teachers accountable. And, there are many other things. And even the agriculture, spend more money into agriculture. 13 million, 14 million into agriculture is nonsense. Out of $1.2 billion. You get $1.2 billion to spend, and only 13, 14 million spending in agriculture. And agriculture is supposed to be your A in the arrest agenda. Where is the spending? And last but not the least, the guy who or the woman who is responsible for writing the president's speech. Come on, man. You're writing somebody's speech that will take the man 4 hours to read the speech. Nobody going to sit down and listen to somebody read speech for 4 hours. People will get bored. They will not even hear what you say. Summarize. Talking about, we have erected 117 lepo in 126.
Yeah, that was so cheap. That was cheap.
Are you serious? That is an achievement.
You're talking about the government have procured, 64 buses, 64 government of Liberia bus. You put it on in president's speech, 64 bus. Bro, I will tell you, the university that I attended, it have more than 100 buses parking.
If you go in Abidjan, you see somebody that owns 100 buses.
I went to Abidjan National Transit Park. It's in Adjamé. It's in Adjamé, bro. There are more buses that are parking, bro. It's more than 3,000. And you're talking about 64 buses. You put it down in speech to go and tell your partner that one person can buy.
That is that again. With all that being said, I still believe that the government is progressive. 100%. It is doing way much better than the previous government. And but I think they are trying to brag about things that it's not supposed to be bragging about. They're talking about little things that and calling it achievement. And this is really irritating people. There are other countries right beside us that are doing way much better than us in those sectors, and they're not even talking about it. The president putting those things in his S.O.N.A speech is uncalled for. Let's move on. Dauda, let's move on. I think we're already to 40 minutes.